Today, we're going to tackle a huge, and I mean huge paradox. Why do so many expensive, cutting-edge tech projects just fail? To get to the bottom of this, we're diving into the pioneering work of Dr-Eng-Prof Yogesh Malhotra, a true giant in this space who has spent decades figuring out the human side of this exact problem.
Okay, so this quote, which Dr. Malhotra often cites, really hits the nail on the head. And get this, it's from 1994. This shows us that for decades, we've known that a system can be technically perfect, a real work of art, but that's absolutely no guarantee that anyone will actually use it. It's like a ghost in the machine, haunting company after company.
So this leads us to what some call the IT productivity paradox. It's this strange, frustrating reality that just because you pour tons of money into information technology, it doesn't mean you'll see productivity go up. Dr. Malhotra's analysis of this is fascinating. He shows that the biggest IT spenders are often not the best performers. So if throwing money and fancy tech at the problem isn't the answer, what is? Well, to figure that out, we've got to bust a few powerful myths.
Ah yes, the classic field of dreams fallacy. You know the one. The belief that if you just create a technologically brilliant system, users will magically flock to it, hearts in their eyes. But as we're about to see, reality is, well, it's a lot more complicated than that. This slide right here illustrates a key distinction from Dr. Malhotra's research. So many organizations rely on what's on the left side of this chart, extrinsic motivation. You know, the stick and the carrot, using rewards, punishments, or just plain old surveillance to force people to use a system. But real, lasting commitment? That comes from the right side of the chart, intrinsic motivation. That's our built-in desire to learn, to solve puzzles, and to feel a sense of personal satisfaction.
And this little anecdote from Dr. Malhotra's work is just the perfect illustration. I mean, picture it. The technology worked just fine. The invitations went out. But that intrinsic motivation, the reason for users to care, it just wasn't there. The system was a technical success, but a cultural ghost town, dead on arrival.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Getting someone to log in once, that's the easy part. But getting them to truly weave a tool into their daily work, to innovate with it, to make it their own, that requires tapping into their inner drive. It has to be about genuine commitment, not just reluctant compliance.
All right, let's move on to our second myth. We're scaling up now from the individual user to the whole organization. This is the big one, the flawed idea that you can create some kind of corporate brain just by installing a piece of software.
This table, which Dr. Malhotra compiled, just perfectly captures the old way of thinking about this. You can see the pattern, right? It's all about capture, repository, databases. It treats human knowledge almost like water that you can just pour from someone's head into a hard drive.
But then you read this quote, which is so central to Dr. Malhotra's work, and it just flips that entire idea on its head. Knowledge isn't just the data. It's the human act of taking that data, interpreting it, and making sense of it. The real magic happens inside the user's mind, not on the server.
And this right here shows the huge shift in thinking. On the left, you've got that old information processing model. It's static, it's focused on the past, and it's all about getting one right answer. But Dr. Malhotra really helped pioneer this sense-making model on the right. It's human-centric, it's dynamic, it's about the future. It understands that in our complex world, knowledge isn't about just following rules. It's about embracing different viewpoints to adapt and innovate.
Okay, and that brings us to our final, and let's be honest, often the most expensive myth of all. It's that relentless chase for the next shiny new thing. The belief that your competitive advantage is just one software update away.
In his analysis, Dr. Malhotra points out this absolutely critical distinction. On one hand, you have technology push. That's when a company buys some fancy new tool and then asks, okay, now what problem can we solve with this? It's a recipe for disaster. The successful approach is strategy pull. You start with a clear business goal, and then you ask, okay, what's the right tool to help us get there? See the difference? Technology doesn't create momentum, it accelerates it.
Dr. Malhotra points to companies like Walmart and Dell as perfect examples. They weren't tech companies, really. They were brilliant business model companies. They figured out a better way to operate first, and only then did they use technology to put the pedal to the metal on those processes. Their strategy pulled the technology along for the ride, not the other way around.
And now, for the cautionary tale, Cisco. They were the poster child for the tech-driven company. They had this incredible, real-time system that they believed gave them a perfect window into the future. But that whole system was built on one very critical and, as it turns out, very flawed assumption, that tomorrow would always look just like yesterday.
When the market suddenly changed, their amazing predictive models, their celebrated technology, drove them right off a cliff. And the price tag for that misplaced faith? A jaw-dropping $2.2 billion inventory write-off. What a powerful and incredibly expensive lesson that even the greatest technology in the world is no match for a bad assumption.
So, we've busted these 3 big myths. What's the solution? Where do we go from here? Well, Dr. Malhotra's decades of research consistently point to one clear answer. It's not about the code. It's all about the people.
The solution, when you synthesize his work, is this really elegant 3-step framework. First, always start with your business strategy, not the tech catalog. Second, build for human motivation. Make your systems useful, challenging, and satisfying to use. And third, you have to champion sense-making. You have to build cultures where people interpret, debate, and adapt, instead of just blindly following prompts on a screen.
So in the end, success isn't really about having the fastest servers or the most lines of code. It's about having a fundamentally better philosophy, one that puts human strategy, human motivation, and human interpretation right at the very center of the technological universe.
And that leaves us with a really critical question, especially for today, for right now, in the age of AI. As we get more and more obsessed with optimizing the artificial, have we maybe forgotten about the most powerful, the most creative, and the most adaptive algorithm of all? The one that's running inside each of us?